You guys wanted an update on BJ Penn? Well, I have one for you. But this one's gonna be different. This one will probably be the most real video you will see on MMA YouTube. I'm going to go through what the process of BJ Penn's case will most likely be. We're going to look at the why it was as it pertains to holding mental patients. And I'm going to break it down as somebody who went through psychosis for 2 years, who knows people that were addicted to meth. I'm going to say the big words, so the YouTube robots are going to bury this video, but please share it. I want everybody in the MMA community making videos on BJ Penn. I want MMA Guru. I want Jesse on fire. I want to bring this all the way up to fucking Chael Sonnen. And you know what? As much as I mock him, MMA Joey, I feel like you can come out of your corner this one instance and make a video on this. But this is going to be a longer one. And we're basically going to do a refresher for those of you that don't know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, I have a playlist of all the updates on BJ Penn. But BJ Penn was arrested for 3 times in 6 days around May 26th to June 1st. Um, not going to read the article, but basically this is due to multiple violations of a restraining order. I need to burp. Um, oh, good Lord. I guess not. Well, I was been. Anyways, back to the video. He made a bunch of Instagram posts accusing his family of being replaced by government officials, wearing masks, pointing out physical attributes that he claims are different from his family. Um, he stole clothes, shoes, jewelry, personal items from his mom. She noticed her wallet with her driver's license, credit card, were stolen from her safe. And we know about the flashlight, right? Or he kept shining the flashlight into her eyes. Um, but he violated a restraining order multiple times. He at minimum is going to be under some kind of protective custody. Whether that is jail, whether that is a mental facility. But then we had this update. A few days ago, I made a video on this. BJ Penn requested a public defender in this assault case. And the reason why this was such a big and crucial part of this situation is BJ Penn should not be struggling with money. BJPenn.com, you ever wondered why it's called BJPenn.com? He created that website very early on. He was one of the first guys with an MMA news outlet. He was the lightweight champion, welterweight champion, fought everybody, fought Lyoto Machida at light heavyweight, and did good in that fight. But it's not about what BJ Penn did in this sport. It's about the mental health of BJ Penn. It's about the mental health of fighters. Now, District Court Judge Darren W. Ching Nagala, who is presiding over Penn's case, gave the MMA fighters further instructions for requesting a public defender. They need more information from you, more detailed information. You can fill out another application and fill it out with as much detail as you can. As long as you fall below a certain threshold, then you're considered indigent. And then they can represent you for free. for free. This guy should be able to hire any fucking lawyer that he wants. And he is saying that his family is, or the government is stealing his family's wealth. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think he believes through it, and I think that his mom did the executive decision to take over the finance because the BJ Penn family themselves are a rich family. They have like the BJ Penn estate and all that stuff. Uh, why would you go with a public defender? I'm not entirely sure. You do have the right, if you can afford it, to an attorney of your choice. Right? Right there. The moment that I saw this, I came home from the bar. I immediately made a video on it. And I knew the moment he hired this public defender, he does not have the mental capacity to stand trial. And there are a lot of other allegations in this situation I'm not going to get into. We know about his arrest over the years. He's been in multiple street fights, CTE. Yeah, it's a factor. The other one I want to stress too is that his mom isn't the only one with a restraining order on him. His ex and his kids have a restraining order against BJ Penn that was filed years ago for abuse. And in that case, in that order, it did say sexual abuse. I don't know what went on there. What went on there? I did not have eyes on that situation. I could not dig up that much information. But that is no joke. But also, that is not the BJ Penn I think that he truly is. I think that this is a guy that has struggled with addiction his entire life. I heard in an interview he did start young. He started using drugs, I believe, around 10. I like I started smoking weed when I was 13, and I'm gonna get into my experiences in the mental facility, and I'm gonna be as much of an open book as most people will be on shit like this. But public defender, it's important because that shows he has no access to his wealth or does not know how to use it. I then went over. I found this website. I was trying to figure out the system, the mental facility uh, system in the States. I live in Alberta, Canada. I've gone through the Alberta mental system 3 times. I know about involuntary holds. I know about voluntary holds. I know the maximum amount of time. I know the forms that are needed to extend your stays. I'm as much of an expert on mental health as anybody without a psychology degree can be. Okay, so reading the guide here, navigating the mental health system can be challenging, especially. Okay, we don't need to read that. What is an involuntary hold? An involuntary hold, also known as civil commitment, is a legal process through which an individual with severe mental illness can be detained in a psychiatric hospital for treatment without their consent. The measure is typically taken when the person poses a significant risk to themselves or others, and it is believed they need urgent care. he will be in involuntary hold. He's in custody. There's already police reports on it. I would be shocked if BJ Penn had the ability to self admit. And the difference between those two things here is when you self admit, there's a maximum amount of time that can hold you. 30 days where I'm from. They have it down here. Um, yeah, danger to yourself, danger to others, criteria, conditions. You get legal representation when you're seeking all that stuff. Appeal process. We're gonna get into when in a second here. But if we go down to Hawaii, where this is taking place, where BJ Penn lives, the initial hold is 48 hours, 2 days. Process initiated by law enforcement or a mental health professional. This will be both. Extended hold requires a court order, which he already has, and they will immediately write up if he's deemed not mentally competent to stand trial. I will leave always an example of normal videos. If you've been around, you know. Now, I found the state of Hawaii Department of Health. I did a bit of digging on this website, but I couldn't really find much information. Again, my hope is that making this video, this can be a community driven effort to figure out these things and help BJ Penn, help the community, and be real about this stuff. Mission statement: our mission is to provide excellent inpatient psychiatric services for court ordered individuals within a safe and therapeutic environment. Vision statements: our vision is to be a leader in the healthcare industry, blah blah blah, relevant and quality and multidisciplinary services, competent staff through relevant and appropriate training programs, responsive to the needs of our patients, supportive of staff, promotion of safe and appropriate environment. The gist, they have their whole pride motto and all that stuff. But you guys can go through all of this. Basically, you can find um you can find whatever information you want about the Hawaii State Hospital, how they work. Um, I don't want to make this video a 4 hour video. Now, okay, we're gonna go on and nick you guys in a second here, but this is where the videos can get real as my webcam shakes like that. So I spent 3 times in a mental facility. The first, well, actually, the ironic part is the first 2 times that I seriously needed to be there, I was voluntary, right? The third time, okay, first 2 times I did weed psychosis, making up insane fucking stories, scared the shit out of my family. My dad had no idea what to do. He tried holding me down, and I was, like, again, I had like business meetings I was going to. I have no idea where. I think to I said I was going to go to California, then to Japan. I was all over the place. And my first 2 stays there, the first one, they really did not help. The second one, it was 2 months. Somewhere around that. I spent 2 months in there. and I was going on about, this business meeting I had. I was going on about being an old lady at some point. I was making up a lot of these things. Part of it was the psychosis. Part of it was me, um, at that age after high school, not knowing what I wanted to do. I was living off of, my savings and my mom saved for me all my childhood, and I had no support. Second time I'm up there, I get on the supports I need. I get connected with all of these things. But there's still a major wait list for these supports. And I, I I'm just gonna come out and say it here. Apart from my doctor, there were maybe two nurses out there that genuinely helped. That were genuinely trying to help me, trying to help the patient. The best nurses out there were not even the main nurses, because if you've ever been up in one of those facilities, you know you typically have a roommate. Maybe you have your own room, but each day you will have a nurse assigned to you. Maybe you'll have the same nurse for a few days. Maybe it's a different nurse the next day. But that nurse is basically responsible for you, maybe three others, for the entire shift. They'll make sure you get your medications. They're supposed to, talk with you, interact with you. And the problem with that is it's all up to the individual, right? A lot of people, we go to work just to get that paycheck. And I get it. I get it. It makes total sense. But from the help that the medical professionals really gave up there, it did not help me one bit. I really do not credit. I would maybe credit 5% of me severely cutting down on my addictions and getting my mental health back. I would put 5% of that on the actual facility. The facility was awful. It really was. But once again, I had a good doctor. I had a doctor that once she realized something was severely wrong, she jumped on it. And I still see this doctor. She goes to bat for me. We have a really good relationship. But even my second stay, 2 months, give or take, somewhere around there, losing my mind. Eventually, I started to say, "Hey, these things aren't real," and I mainly was doing it to get out. I still was trying to say they were real, to speak it into existence, basically. But then I made my channel. I got on Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic, and I started working on this YouTube channel back in 2023. Last year and this year are the first 2 years that I'm actually working on this. That is my experience summed up from weed psychosis. We're talking about meth. I met actually half of the people up there were on meth. I met a lot of people. I live downtown. I know. Well, downtown where I live, I know people that do it, and I hate this stupid drug. And the reality is, recovering from meth addiction, next to fucking impossible. Like, it's possible. People have done it. But dude, it is like when you really see what it does. You hear all the jokes and all that, but like when you see somebody shaking, you know, very energetic, some people it's a downer. Some people it absolutely fries their brain and they completely cook. The other week, I was walking home from the gym and my buddy who lives near me saw me, parked his car on the side of the road, gave me a ride home. But I crossed the road to get to his car, and there was this guy laid out on the sidewalk. I walked past him to get to my friend's car. Dude, his fucking eyes were bright white. It was basically like he had shots of milk in his eye. His eyes did not even look like they were eyes. And now I don't have any proof that it was methamphetamines. I'm just assuming because most of the stuff is cut with fentanyl and it basically does the same thing, right? But I see that guy. I'm close with another guy. Made a video, Hatchet Man. Go check it out. It's a story time. I see him every week. And I had to walk across the bridge to, get to the gym. And sometimes I see him on that bridge. We'll go have a cigarette and well, I'll give him a cigarette and I'll sit down and chat with him. A lot of the stuff that he says is way out there, hilarious. But when you actually get down to it, and then, you know, you get under the skin a bit, and they start opening up. They talk about their family. This guy has kids. This guy told me he had a daughter and a son that he hasn't seen in years, a mother that he hasn't seen in years. And when he went through all of that, and this is very recently, a few weeks ago, I thought about BJ Penn. I ran into one of the guys that I bunked with in the medical facility I stayed at. He basically has been in and out of there his entire life. He smoked not even the second day. And at first, he almost lied to me. Because that was one of the first things I asked him. Like, I lived with this guy. Shared a room. My last visit of my life, I'm never going back up there. And he ended up finding a little roach during one of his breaks. Like, they'll give you breaks to, like, go downstairs. You can order food at Tim Hortons. Or most of us, we went out and had a cigarette, right? I smoke cigarettes. If you don't use nicotine, don't ever get into it. It's such a stupid addiction, but it's hard to quit. Again, not the worst one, right? But this guy got me a strip search. But during the time I bunked with him, right? It's he went into his family. He went into his dad being a part of the housing, him being on the street at the age of 9, I believe. And I listened to all of this. There's another guy I got close to that also did meth. Now I factor this into this situation with BJ Penn, right? Him losing his fucking mind. As somebody who went through psychosis or thought they were an old lady for some fucking reason, I'm able to put myself in BJ Penn's eyes and I can feel everything that he's going through, right? I know instantly from the speech pattern, right? That's one of the biggest things I bring up. The way that in all of his Instagram videos, he was very monotone, but he's talking really fast and he was accusing his mom of being an imposter. He was pointing out minor physical traits in this tone. That's exactly the tone that my bunkmate, whatever you want to call him, had. And I hate it. I fucking hate it. I've seen so many lives destroyed because of this. I've seen so many people who, without it, and I already said this in this video, they might be the most successful people to ever live. Now, the reason I'm harping on BJ Penn right now, the reason I want you guys to know that he is getting treatment, he's going to a mental facility. He cannot mentally stand trial. We got Nick Diaz as well. This one, um, actually, wait, this is a good story. Let's end off with that one. You guys remember this one? Tony Ferguson flipping his truck. This happened 2023. Yeah, 2023. Um, get out of here, Usman. The court case involving longtime UFC star Tony Ferguson has reached a resolution. Monday, Judge Shannon K. Cooley of Superior Court of Los Angeles County, California, ruled on the plea deal reached by the prosecution and defense, according to court records. A misdemeanor DUI charge against Ferguson was dismissed by the court. In turn, Ferguson pleaded Noel Contandre, I don't know what that is, never heard of it, to one misdemeanor charge of wet, what? Wet reckless driving upon a highway. Why? What the fuck is wet reckless driving? Alright. As a result, Ferguson will be required to serve 1 year of probation. Conditions of probation include not driving after drinking alcohol. Nobody should be doing that. I've got stories of my buddy. We did a lot of stupid stuff. Just don't. Measurable amount and paying restitution to the victim on one terms. Ferguson, 39, was arrested and booked into jail in the early morning hours of May 7th after he allegedly crashed his truck into two cars parked outside of a nightclub in Hollywood, California. There were no injuries, according to police spokesperson Ferguson. Ferguson previously pleaded not guilty. Why am I bringing this up? He also had a domestic dispute with his wife. His wife filed a restraining order. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Same way I don't really know what's going on with BJ Penn. I'm not going to comment on the restraining order. I think he's still with his wife. He still has his kid. But Tony Ferguson is on what, an 8-9 fight losing streak? He lost. Who was his last loss? Was it Chiesa? I think it was Chiesa. Yeah, because he had the Michael Chandler one. I try and forget, man. Tony, as I'm sure all of you, one of my favorite fighters. I hated seeing his downfall. What if he gets into this stuff? What if he starts using a hard drug? He's only a few years younger than BJ Penn. BJ Penn is 46. I think Tony Ferguson is 41, 42, around there. Stephen Bonner. Yeah, we're getting really uncomfortable now. You guys have no idea who Stephen Bonner is. Stephen Bonner was in the finale of The Ultimate Fighter Season 1. Him and Forrest Griffin fought at the finale, and it saved the UFC. Dana White has said the story multiple times. I'm pretty sure the, MMA YouTubers that do documentaries have gone over this. He died of an accidental fentanyl overdose. And I actually watched a video before I recorded this one, on my happen with him. He lost his mind. He was in and out of the mental facilities. He was recording in the mental facility, claiming that they weren't giving him his medication. He needs his medication. Stephen Bonner died of an accidental drug overdose. The Clark County, Nevada coroner office ruled Bonner's death accidental from fentanyl, para, uh, from fentanyl and mitragynine intoxication. In an email sent to MMA Fighting after a public records request following the UFC Hall of Famer's death on December 22nd in Las Vegas, he was 45. BJ Penn was 46. The coroner office declined to provide additional details on Bonner's death, citing medical privacy laws. Typical, Typically, the office determines the cause and manner of death within 90 days, but a spokesperson said Bonner's case took additional time due to additional testing performed during an autopsy. I'm not going to go through this whole article. There we go. This is what I was working on right before the video. Um, Bonner openly discussed his opioids during a September 2021 interview. I will leave the video that I watched down below on this, revealing that a 30 milligram day regimen of oxycodone he used legally to treat long-term injuries uh, from fighting in pro wrestling. He lashed out at the question of whether he abused the drugs after a video he filmed of a hospital confrontation went viral. He later revealed he almost died from a severe staph infection and said he's lucky to be alive. Um, he was blacklisted from the UFC. There were also very odd videos. I think there was one of him in a scrapyard in a random car, if I'm remembering correctly. But this happened 2 years ago. Actually, yeah. Um, 2 years and a month ago. War Machine. Yeah, I'm going there. I'm going there. You guys don't know about War Machine? He was an old fighter. I think he also came from the Ultimate Fighter. John War Machine Copperhaver will be one of the most featured stories in Dark Inside the Cage. Was sentenced to 36 years to life in prison on more than a dozen charges in 2017, stemming from a violent attack against his ex-girlfriend, Christine McIndy, Christy Mack. Not even going to show you the photos. If you want to go look it up, you can look it up. It was fucking bad. It was fucking bad. And this was in 2017. This is 9 years ago. Give me a second here. Where is the UFC? Where is Dana White? Where is Chael Sonnen? Where is Daniel Cormier? Are DCRC? Do they do that show still? Where's Joe Rogan? Why is this not front fucking page of every fucking MMA news source? Why is it that me, a 21-year-old with cerebral palsy, has to be the one making these videos? Has to be the one addressing this? Being honest with what he's been through. Because I know that a lot of people in this community have gone through it. Some of you shared your stories. Fuck the sport. Fuck Sean O'Malley Marab. Fuck International Fight Week. Who gives a fuck about the promotion when we have legends of the sport who, without them fighting back in the day, without BJ Penn, I would not be here. Without Stephen Bonner, there would be no UFC. Without that first season of Ultimate Fighter, the company would have collapsed. But I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done seeing all of these legends that I grew up with losing their minds, getting addicted to severe drugs, ending up in mental health facilities when they should be living their best lives. Shout out John Jones. I said I wouldn't make any jokes, but I want to end this off on a positive note. As I already teased, we got an update on Nick Diaz there. This time coming from Caesar Gracie. You guys don't know who Caesar Gracie is. He is Caesar Gracie. He is. I freaking spell his name. I know I'm spelling it wrong. And then I deleted it. Caesar Gracie. Odd. MMA. You fucking kidding me? Nah. There we go. This is Caesar Gracie, right? Um, Nick Diaz's coach, all that stuff. He came out and he addressed the situation. Abduction rumors about Nick Diaz draw concerns reactions from MMA veterans after coach's update. Nick Diaz's longtime coach, Caesar Gracie, recently shot down the rumors of his alleged abduction. Gracie even indicated that the UFC great was no longer in a relationship with his partner slash girlfriend Kay, who'd claim he had been abducted. A couple of MMA veterans have now touched upon this situation, expressing their concerns for the legendary Diaz. If you don't know who Nick Diaz is, get Fight Pass. Go watch his fights. Boom. There's your new favorite fighter right there. Former UFC fighters react to update by Nick Diaz's coach amid abduction rumors. Over the past several days, a few Instagram stories posted by Nick Diaz's partner Kay have been a much discussed topic among fight fans. Nick and his younger brother Nate Diaz, both whom are held as MMA legends and UFC icons, recently unfollowed one another on Instagram. It's believed to be a foreboding development as it comes at a time when Kay has suggested that Nick was abducted and taken to a rehabilitation facility in Mexico, where he's allegedly being held against his will. She implied that Nate and the UFC were paying for Nick's treatment at the facility and that his cousin Ruben was overseeing treatment. Meanwhile, in a Facebook post via BJJ trainer Dylan Dearborn, um, oh, it wasn't Susan. My bad. Well, anybody that didn't know that his head coach, it's Houston Gracie. Dylan Dearborn. My apologies. And Infinity Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Dearborn asserted that Nick is alive and well and that he's in training and guiding Nick in Mexico, also via the Infinity BJJ Instagram handle. Dearborn asserted that Nick's family, the UFC, and the place he's staying are all supporting him in his journey. His Instagram post comprised Diaz photos, which claims are from their training session in Mexico. Furthermore, there we go. Caesar Gracie, a member of the famed Gracie BJJ family and a well-known coach of Nick, took to Instagram and provided a notable update. Nick is healthy and well, not cloned or kidnapped. He's not joined the MS-13s and does not have a girlfriend, but is fully working. Then he posted this picture of him rolling on the ground, man. And shout out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz, another one of the reasons I'm here. Then they go on to talk about this on the Believe You Me podcast. Shout out Michael Basting for bringing this up. But yeah, Nick Diaz, not kidnapped, not cloned. He's working on jiu-jitsu in Mexico. I'm hoping the best for Nick. I've been hearing a lot of good updates from Nick Diaz and this situation. But again, man, I want to see these fighters healthy. I don't want to see another Stephen Bonner. I don't want to see another War Machine. We can bitch about the sport. We can go back to making fun of MMA Joey. We can do all of that. But right now, I'm calling on everybody to share this video, to get this out there, and make sure that BJ Penn and Nick Diaz know they have an entire community willing to help them. Some of us have gone through it ourselves. At the end of the day, this sappy bullshit, you're not alone. I love each and every one of you. Stay safe. Once again, I know this has been a longer video, but please share this because I put a lot of time into this and I truly do care about the health of the fighters, the health of everybody at the UFC, and most importantly, the health of the MMA community as a whole. But that's what I got. That's the update for now. I will make another one when we know for sure BJ Penn is going to a mental institution. And I will be here along the way to cover the story. God bless you all, whether you are religious or not. Stay safe and keep pushing forward, man. Even if you're struggling with addiction right now, trust me, routine, man. Find a hobby. Go to the gym. And the basic life, lessons that your dad taught you. Basic shit, man. Create a routine and work through your shit. Everybody is dealing with it. So, yeah, man. Thank you for watching. If this is the only video that you watch of mine, I appreciate you sticking around. I'm done wasting your time. But please share your support for BJ Penn. Share your support for Nick Diaz. I'm out.